I hereby summon all my imps. Hey everybody, it's Annabelle. Since a lot came out since the last time I did a discussion, there's actually enough for me to do 2 discussions today. So I'll start where I left off in the last discussion. And we're actually going to go 11 cards this time around because there's a 11th card that I really want to talk about on this set that we don't get to unless we go to 11. So we're going to go 1 card heavier than we normally do. So the first one up for us one second. Okay, it's going to be Wretched Exile. Wretched Exile for us is a 2 mana, 2/3 Demon Hunter card that says after you play an outcast card, add a random outcast card to your hand. Cards like this, see play, they kind of make these chains that happen. Where you kind of get a card after card after card after card. But you can, like, write bank. And, the problem is that some of the outcast cards that exist are really heavy. And if you catch one of the really heavy cards, you're basically done. So if you can get low, great. If you go high, though, ugh. Okay, the next one up for us is Vengeful Walloper. So Vengeful Walloper is a 7 mana 5/5 demon that says cost 1 less for each outcast card you've played this game. It's rush, and I will say this, and I'll bring this up later. Whenever you can make a card cost 0, you have to be really careful. Zero mana anything is just a scary card. So I will give this watch out for 0. Okay. Next up for us is going to be the start of the priest cards here. And the first priest card that we're going to talk about is Sister Sylvana. And Sister Sylvana is a 6 mana 6/6 undead that has permanently add Vision of Darkness to your hand on a battle card. And this is what Vision of Darkness looks like. What it is this card will permanently be in your hand. So even after you cast it, you get another copy back in your hand. And for 3 mana, you discover a shadow spell. Having this is really interesting because it's almost like having a second hero power. Because anytime you have 3 mana, you can just discover something that you can bank. And it's not just until end of turn. You can hold on to them. Infinite card generation is something that has always just been a pain to see priests do, but it's what they're really good at doing. So I will give this an infinite value out of ridiculous value. Next up for us is going to be the Crystal Smith cultist. The Crystal Smith cultist, God, is that a hard one to say? Is a 1 mana 1/2 that says if you're holding a shadow spell, gain +1/+1. 1 mana 2/3 on pretty much any day is the best you're ever hoping for. If you're playing a shadow card at all, the likelihood that you'll have a shadow spell is high. Even without a shadow spell, this thing isn't the worst card in the world, but you're playing this in a deck with shadow spells. And if you look at the last card's going to give you a lot of shadow spells to just kind of hold on to and use. So I will give this a Shadow Realm Cold. Next up for us, we're moving into Shaman for a little bit. We're looking at Pestilence. Pre-Science, sorry. Pre-Science is a 4 mana shadow spell for Shaman that says draw 2 minions. They each cost 5 or more. Summon a 2/3 Spirit with Taunt. This is such an interesting card because it's basically drawing 2 cards out of your hand, out of your deck. So this is almost like another Arcane Intellect. But with a 2 on there, you know they're going to be a high cost. If you make them exactly 5, you know you're playing something next turn. And even with all that thrown in there, you're still putting on a 2/3 Spirit with Taunt. So all this is put together into one card that's doing this all for 4. I mean, just think about all you're adding to this. This can be a Sardinafrius pull sometimes. And you're just putting down a card, and this is making your deck lower. I mean, this is a really good card. Give this a 2 tutor terrific. Okay, next up for us I can flip to our page, that'd be great. I have to flip through pages. Is going to be Blightblood Berserker. And Blightblood Berserker is an 8 mana, 8/8 undead for Shaman that has Taunt, Lifesteal, Reborn, Death Rattle. Deal 3 damage to a random enemy minion. So, where does the 3 damage come in? On the Death Rattle, I'm assuming. On the Death Rattle, okay. It's a nice taunt. It's going to gain you some life. The Reborn's going to mean that it's going to deal some damage. This is gaining 6 damage. This is gaining you... It's gaining you 6 life. So this is a 12 mana sort of swing. 8. It's a little hard to cast this down on because on 8 you want to almost win at that point. where this is just more stabilization than win. So, I mean, I'm gonna give this a stabilization is not as good as win. Okay, next card up for us. It's going to be the Overlord Doctrine. And Overlord is a 9-mana 6/6 with Russian Wind Fury. After this attacks and kills a minion, resurrect it on your side. So kind of a Sylvanas Windrunner vibe to it. 9 mana, again, you want to be winning the game. This will not win you a game. This is a card that needs to be way earlier on in the game. I mean, you're not putting this down unless you're trying to kill something on your opponent's side of the board and take it over, kind of in that fact. But 9 is not when you want to do that. This is way too heavy. 9 is you want to win. Okay, so I will give this a way too heavy for what it does. Of the two of these, I would rather play this guy than to play this guy. This guy on 8 is way better than this guy on 9. With the undead synergies and everything else that you get off of this one, and the lifesteal and the reborn, this is going to be pain to get through. This isn't going to do much. This is stealing one card from your opponent, maybe. Maybe 2 on a good day. But that's it. Next up for us is the final Shaman card. That came out in this little block. Which is from the other side. We're going to go for the mini set before we went to Law and Disorder. And what the other side is it's a 10 mana Shaman Shadow spell that says summon a copy of each minion in your hand. They attack random enemy minions, then die. This card is so useless. It is beyond useless. This card does not need to be 10. It doesn't want to be 10. 10 is winning the game. This will never win you the game. I don't know how this is winning the game. This is Sarnaphrius turns. This is big, heavy, super thick drops. These are your big boys. How many cards are you going to have in your hand on turn 10 that are sitting there? To throw those out and just have them attack random enemies until then they die. So even if they, you're hoping for some good death rattles on your side of the screen. This is such a weird card for 10. I don't know why this would be put in at 10. This could almost be 5 and be fine, and I'm not even joking. At 5 mana, this could have the same exact effect and it'd be fine. Summon a copy of each minion in your hand. They attack a random enemy minion, then die. Yeah, for 5, this would be basically perfectly fine. For 10, it's just way, way too pricey. I'm giving this a way too pricey out of ridiculously understated. Okay, so that's where we're going to stop on this particular one for right now. I thought I was going to do 11, but I miscounted and skipped 2 cards somewhere along the way. And I kind of want to talk about this Fire Warrior package as its own package, so I'll cut this here. And we'll do a special one just for the Fire Warrior package. Because I really want to talk about this Fire Warrior package on its own. So thank you all so much for watching. And as always, remember, play for fun.